Let's go. Ready? Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Room, the podcast brought to you by LFC Transfer Room. I'm Richie, I'll be your host today, and I'm joined again by Alex and Rigo, and we are recording off the back of a pretty somber Liverpool mood, if I'm honest, but I've never been prouder than the team than I am now. 2 losses in the whole of the Premier League and 92 points. That is pretty sensational. We still came second. Like it sort of bodes well for Manchester City that they can post those performances and post those points. But listen, this is Liverpool. This is Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. We've never seen anything like this in our lives. We should be proud of what everything he has achieved and what this Liverpool team has achieved. Alex, thoughts straight over to you before I start crying and embellish too much. But Alex, what do you think of today and final thoughts of the season?
Yeah, slightly deflated, to be honest. But I don't think any of us went into the game expecting City not to win. So 70th minute, you see 2-0, you see the crowd's reaction. That's when the belief really kicks in, and this overwhelming feeling, overtakes you. And that's when you really start thinking, hang on a minute, this could actually happen. But City, unlike anyone else, they can switch it on like that. So just got to take it with a pinch of salt, be proud of the players and the club and the staff, and look forward to Saturday in Paris. I don't think you can be too disheartened considering how well we've done this season.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that we did our business today, and that was all that was needed. You can't ever write off the City team. Rigo, thoughts?
What a ride, Villas gave us that hope at halftime, going up 2-0, being up, I should say, and we were there tied 1-1, and unfortunately, it kind of coincided. Man City made their rush, went up 3-2, and then we got our lead there with Salah poking it in at the back post. But disappointed, but in reality, being pragmatic about it, you can't really ask for anything more from this team. They gave absolutely everything, every single match, up and down the roster up until today, and we still have something to play for on Saturday. We walk on. We came up second yet again, 1 point, but heads held up high. There's nothing really to be shamed about finishing in second. If it wasn't for Liverpool, this Premier League for the past 5 seasons would be a dead competition. So let's hold our heads up high, be thankful for the ride that we got, and know we have 2 trophies in the bag and 1 more yet possibly still to come. So very happy with this team. Can't complain at all.
I think it's an amazing time to be a Liverpool fan. Like I said, I'm 34 years old. I've never seen a team like this. I've never seen a team compete on so many fronts, and I've never seen a team push for the title really like every season. And Jurgen Klopp, I think, summed it up. If you want to win big, you have to be ready to lose big. And I think that is perfect for Liverpool Football Club. We give everything 100%, and I could never be prouder of this football team. And I genuinely think that, every single player can walk around and do the tour of the stadium and do the lap of honor and literally be proud of, participating in every single 63 games this season. That's crazy. That's unheard of. That we were talking about the quadruple until today. We could have still won the quadruple until today, and that's testament to Klopp and his players. And hopefully, like Rigo said and Alex said on Saturday, we'll add to that collection. Thiago going off, I suppose, was the biggest blow today. That's for Saturday. It's momentous because I thought we would have the run of that Madrid midfield, and I thought if the competition was going to be won, we would dominate in midfield with Thiago, Henderson, and Fabi. Now it looks like, I think Thiago came off, and it looked like at half time he knew, didn't he? He knew that he was going to be struggling. How big of a miss is Thiago, Alex, like for Liverpool?
Oh, huge. I think we all know the player Thiago is, especially, the stuff he'd done at Bayern. But it did take him a while to click, sort of, at Liverpool. But this season, he's come on leaps and bounds in terms of fitting into our team. We know how well he is at creating from deep and winning the ball from deep. But just today, we saw a glimpse of, that little back heel through the legs, assist. We're seeing more and more of Thiago, and I feel like we were just about to hit the point where we're going to have a seriously good contender for one of the best midfielders on form in the world. And hopefully Klopp, I have a feeling Klopp might be, fearing for the worst out of, in case it does happen where he can't play. And I'm still quite hopeful he can, even though Klopp has said that it doesn't look good. But obviously a huge blow if he doesn't play. I think he really balances the midfield out rather well. So if he's not there on Saturday, I think it won't affect our chances too much, but certainly our chances would be better if he would be in the team come Saturday.
And Rigo, who would you expect to come in?
Coming in, obviously, if Fab is able to start, it'd be a combination of Fab, Hendo, and Keita, with the way the past few matches have been looking like. Losing Thiago, huge loss. Such a calming influence there in the midfield. Able to just keep recycling the ball, adds bits of skill to the play. And overall just lifts the quality of the squad. So losing him is definitely a huge thing if he isn't able to make the matchday squad for next Saturday. But regardless of who lines up on Saturday, I think they'll be raring to go. Klopp will have them ready, and we're going for it. It's been that way every single season. Klopp has been in charge, and will continue that way through this Saturday's final. Next man up does the job, and keep walking on.
Yeah, it's interesting that Klopp's post-match was obviously full of praise of City, and that's all you can do. With this Man City team, that's all you can do. They've spent billions. They've got probably the best player in the world in Kevin De Bruyne, and all you can do is applaud them. Same for you guys. I'm sure I went into this thinking it was City's to lose, and they didn't lose it. So what was interesting though with Klopp is that he said next Saturday, this game makes us more hungry, and that can only be a good thing. Madrid have been, I don't know if you've seen like the Marca newspapers, etc., but they've been saying Kings of Europe, it's coming home, etc. Klopp should be posting on blue tack and sellotaping all of those newspaper articles around the changing rooms, and he doesn't have to give a team talk. He should just say, just look around you, because this is what Spain thinks and this is what Madrid thinks. Next week is going to be monumental. It's going to be huge. It's going to be sensational. It's so big. The only difference is obviously that we won't have a Divock Origi, which is a huge shame, because I was so glad to see, if you guys have not seen it on Twitter, who's listening to us, the Guard of Honor was sensational. Honestly, it was a beautiful moment. And if you can go and see that, Divock Origi is a Liverpool legend, no doubt. He's a cult hero, yes, but that doesn't do him justice. He's an absolute legend. The goals he scored are probably the most important goals that anybody has ever scored in Liverpool history. So it'd be a shame not to see Origi line up on the bench as well. But I mean, Rigo, how big has Origi been for Liverpool? How much more of a miss? I thought there'd be one more story left for Origi. I thought there'd be one more chapter left to be written.
Yes, kind of left us hoping for one more appearance from him this Sunday. Unfortunately, he was injured and couldn't make the matchday squad. Huge goals throughout his Liverpool career. Our Champions League back in 2018, 2019 wouldn't be there without him coming through and scoring that decisive goal against Barcelona, obviously, along with so many game-winning goals and clutch goals. Just looking back on today's opponent, he scored against the Wolves.
Yeah, there you go. And the winner in the Champions League final.
Exactly against Tottenham. But even taking things off the field, just his attitude and work ethic within the team, knowing that perhaps he's not the starter, but whenever he's called upon, he has delivered. and having that same work ethic, it kind of bleeds into the squad, knowing that someone who's been so clutch and is a legend and doesn't get the minutes still works hard and puts forth that mighty effort. And going on a different subject, he also has set up scholarships for the local lads and girls around Liverpool area. It's Liverpool, one of the Liverpool universities. So legend both on and off the field. Rumor has it he's going to AC Milan. I wish him all the best luck in the world. I hope he starts almost every game and ends up the Serie A top scorer. Nothing but the best for Divock.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you mentioned the scholarship as well, because he's done so much for the community of Liverpool, and he has lived in Liverpool, and he said like his heart is in Liverpool. And you know what? Like Jurgen Klopp always said, he does not blame him for moving on, and we cannot do that. I think, you know, he'll be a Liverpool legend for years and years to come. The scholarship that he set up, the precedent that he's set at Liverpool Football Club, the willingness to sit on the bench and come on when needed and score so many vital goals. There's only one group of people on Merseyside who would be glad to see him go, and they're the blue half of Merseyside, because I can guarantee you no one on the red half wants to see him go, because you're never going to find a player like that in Divock Origi. So absolute testament to Divock Origi. Alex, last thoughts?
Yeah, 41 goals and 14 assists there. Origi's tallied up at his time at Liverpool. That's an impressive figure for any player, and that's not even taking into account the moments he's made. You mentioned the final at Barcelona, Everton twice. He's had big moments against them. I don't think you can count on two hands the amount of moments Origi's had for Liverpool, significant moments. He's going to be sorely missed, and like you said, he's a cult hero. So clutch, and he always adds a bit of something different. He's quite uncanny in the way he goes about his business. Sometimes he's not, the most delightful on the eye, but he always finds a way to pop up, and I think Liverpool will sorely miss that come next season.
Yeah, I think the same goes for Minamino, if I'm honest, because like we saw in midweek, obviously, that Taki came up and he scored such a vital goal against Southampton, and he has scored a goal every 95 minutes, which, to be fair, is a pretty impressive, like that's a good strike rate, a goal every 95 minutes. So I think these players like Origi, like Minamino, they are very hard to come by, and we would do extremely well to play, to try to play an Origi type player or replace him. I think maybe Fabio Carvalho could come in and take those minutes. I hope that he does, because he does look like a bit of a wonder kid. But we'll see. I'll go straight back to Alex, because I would like to know your Champions League final thoughts. Obviously, the fitness on Thiago, Van Dijk, Salah remains a bit of a mystery, and rightfully so it should until kickoff. But how do we stand really with Madrid breathing down our necks for that Champions League final?
Yeah, I'm fairly confident, I would say, compared to previous finals. I think Liverpool have been there. They've been the distance. They know what it takes. They know the heartbreak of losing, which only fuels the fire to win. I think this Madrid side is one that's aging. Their core players are either gone or they're either getting on. So that with, they've added a few young players in, but I think this is a team that's sort of caught, mid-drift of recycling and redeveloping a new squad and revamping there. And I think we're hitting the prime of our squad. So I'm fairly confident going in, should the players that obviously are necessary to start, Salah, Van Dijk, they come back fit. So I think if all goes to plan, obviously Thiago's a downer going in, but I think I'm fairly confident that Liverpool can go and make it number 7 in Paris.
Yeah, Thiago is huge, isn't it? I was so confident that we would add number 7, and Thiago going down today, it was just like my heart was like in palpitation mode. So Rigo, thoughts?
Yeah, it's I think it's going to be a very, very, very close matchup. Really, unfortunately, a toss-up at this point, especially considering our midfield situation with Thiago going down. Huge matchup to kind of highlight would be Trent versus Vinny on the wing there. Hopefully, with the way Klopp has kind of been lining up with any speedy type wingers or any speedy type strikers. He has been lining up Konate to partner up with Virgil van Dijk. I wholly expect Virgil to be there come Saturday. So that matchup with Vinny Jr. on the wing will be, I think, very crucial. If Trent can hold his own like he has been, and he's been totally on the money defensively lately, no errors, honestly. I think we have a terrific shot to come away with the Champions League trophy. With Thiago going down, I just hope we have enough metal in the midfield to kind of deal with Valverde and Camavinga once they come on. Don't know if Don Carlo is going to start them or revert back to his tried and true midfield of Casemiro, Modric, and Kris. But once those young guns kind of come in, I hope our midfield has the pace and strength to kind of contend with them, and hopefully at that point it'll be decided and we'll be up by a margin. But it'll be a tight matchup for sure, especially with Thiago going down. But I expect us to be fully in it. Let's not concede any early goals like we have been, and I think we have a fairly good chance of walking away with the trophy.
I think what you've just highlighted there with the Trent Vinny, do you not think that Vinny needs to do more with Trent? Because I feel that that's actually an area where Madrid and Don Carlo might say, actually expose that right-hand side, like expose that Trent Alexander-Arnold earlier, because he might go forwards and he will go forwards. But I think that Vinny has to track back. And I don't know whether Vinny's faced that. I don't think Vinicius Jr. has ever faced someone like Trent, who he has to track back, but not just track back, but also cut inside to that midfield, to that 10 position, to that 8 position, because that's what Trent does. And that's where Trent is perhaps the most explosive, and that's perhaps where he's the most creative. So it will be such an interesting battle. And you're quite right to highlight that, because if Trent's not in position, Vinny will expose it as well.
We saw it last year. We faced Real Madrid last year. Trent didn't have the backup he has now from the center half position, obviously. We were a little depleted last year in the Champions League, but Vinny did score one last year on us, or at least beat us a couple of times. So hopefully it won't be history repeating itself this Saturday.
And it's quite interesting, really, with, like you said, Camavinga has been an impact sub for Madrid, and he's come on and done wonders. Do Liverpool have somebody like that in that midfield now that Thiago's out? Because normally you'd say it's Naby who comes on. Today we saw Milner. Would you expect Milner to come on at 60 minutes to try and tackle Camavinga, perhaps, Alex?
Look, we know Milner's obviously experienced. He's been around the block over and over, but you do make a really valid point about Madrid's legs. I think where we sort of counter that is we get that line high, and we have two monsters in Konate and Van Dijk who are so good at recovery. Konate especially, I've been amazed of how well he's done this year, and the pace and the physicality he brings. I think the high line helps the midfield do less running. And when you do bring on the likes of Valverde, as you said, and Camavinga, I think if we can squeeze, and we're at the point in the game to comfortably do so, I think that might counter that threat slightly. But in terms of subs, I don't think that impact for the legs in midfield is now there. Thiago isn't a big runner, but he does his work, in IQ and how clever he is. He does the smart yards. So it's a valid point. I don't think we do have that sort of impact, but I think Klopp will have his ways of countering that, and I think it should work effectively.
Okay, well, we'll be here next week and seeing what's happened. But on to our transfer roundup. And obviously, as LFC Transfer Room, we always bring you the most current and recent transfer news. So again, you might have heard some of these this week, and some of them, you might think, oh yeah, 100% we're in for that. And I'll tell you which mine is later. Liverpool have made an approach in recent weeks for Ajax winger Antony, with Man United also interested. Now, Ten Hag with Ajax obviously has a connection that could give them the upper hand, and that's UAL Brazil. Tchouameni has agreed terms with Madrid and Liverpool. Now, this has just come out in the recent past hours. He's agreed terms with both teams. He rejected an offer from PSG. He's waiting to wait for a decision by the end of the week. Ironically, probably after the Champions League final. Liverpool were the third club in running for Mbappe, who worked under the sheets secretively. I'm going to cut that one out, Dan. Liverpool were the third club in the running for Mbappe and worked under the sheets secretly to bring him into Anfield. Ultimately, he decided to stay at PSG. Chamberlain will not be offered a new contract with West. You're going to have to cut this one out as well. Dan, your editing here is awful. Chamberlain will not be offered a new contract. West Ham and Newcastle are interested, and Firmino will not leave this summer despite links to him to Bayern. What do we think to those lads?
Looking on it, the interest in Anthony from Ajax is quite obvious, especially with Salah's contract situation kind of hanging in the balance. I think quite a few things are connected, especially with the domino of Mbappe falling already, signing with PSG. That kind of leaves Real Madrid with plenty of money in the bank that they've been kind of hoarding these past couple of transfer windows to go out and spend. Even the rumors of Mane or Salah kind of showed its face on ESPN FC yesterday, considering they missed out and are in need of wingers. The one that I would like, obviously, would be Tchouameni. That's been my go-to transfer wish list person. But whatever we end up doing, I'm sure it'll be what Klopp wants. But definitely some turnover coming up this summer.
Just expanding from the Anthony point there, I have quite mixed emotions on this rumour. 19 goal involvements in 30 games. It's good, but in the league he's in, I don't think that output will do enough to match the one we've currently got in our squad with the players, Mane, Salah. I think their output's better, but what does certainly impress me is Anthony. He has 11.6 progressive carries per 90 and 12.2 progressive passes per 90. That's staggering numbers. It really is. But I think we have a player similar to that and them numbers in Luis Diaz already. So I don't think we should go shopping for something we could already have at home. So I think that is one that we certainly should avoid.
Yeah, I think I agree with you absolutely. He doesn't thrill me. When Diaz came in, I know that he was in the Portuguese league and people had those points of view, but I could see a player there. I've not seen it necessarily with Anthony. I 100% Tchouameni should be the one that comes in. I really hope that, as Rigo quite rightly said, that now the Mbappe millions have flooded back to Madrid, that they don't just throw it all at Tchouameni. But, Don Carlo did say that he wanted to progress his current midfield in Valdev and Camavinga, so hopefully he sticks with that. Apart from that, there's not too much else I don't think we need. I generally don't. I mean, if you sign one player in the summer, we know that Bellingham's not up for sale because Haaland's on his way out. If you ask me right now, who would you most want to sign in the world? Bellingham for me. But we can't sign him. So Tchouameni's the one. I don't know what you guys think. I mean, Alex, one player realistically you could sign, who would it be?
Yeah, Tchouameni, 100%. We were just talking a minute ago about the legs to bring on in the final. I think he is legs. I think he's sound defensively, and we saw obviously clips and highlights that he can obviously do going forward. Darwin Núñez, I think, is an interesting prospect, but personally, I think us and I think other clubs in Europe would give that another year. He's only just burst onto the scene. I think we'll give that another year to just tick over and just see, if there is really a player in there. But yeah, Bellingham, obviously, he's the golden boy. I think if we're not the type of club to go and, line up these marquee signings, but if there was going to be any, I'd hope Bellingham. But in the summer, Tchouameni, 100%.
Okay, and then we're also linked actually to the PSV defensive midfielder Ibrahim Sanagra, and he's aware of Liverpool's interest, and obviously he's wanting to come as well. Rigo, any ideas or thoughts about him too?
Yes, he had great success in Ligue 1 before moving over to the Eredivisie. He's definitely a defensive midfielder who would show up, especially the backup position behind Fabinho, which we currently do not have, unless you count Tyler Morton as a sufficient backup to Fabinho, which I don't. He definitely would provide some size and defensive cover. He doesn't offer the same level of skills that Tchouameni would moving forward, carrying up the field, but he definitely would be a good signing to supplement the midfield, considering we should expect some departures this offseason.
Yeah, with Sanagra, he's definitely in the mould of Fabinho, but for me, I don't feel like that's where we need to particularly strengthen. I think Henderson can do a job in the 6, and I think Thiago also could. I think it's the legs where we need to prioritise moving forward. He's obviously an impressive player, powerful CDM, and I think the physicality point's a really good one you made there, Rigo. But again, it's one where it just doesn't float my boat right. But I certainly do rate him as a player.
Yeah, it's always hard, isn't it? Like judging players from different leagues is always hard because Fabi came in and took a few weeks or months, and then he's just slotted in. Whereas Diaz came in straight away from the Portuguese league and done the business straight away. So it's always hard to judge those players. I mean, we look at external players like Didier Drogba, who probably took a whole season and became one of Chelsea's best ever players. So it's always difficult to try and judge that transition. I think with Liverpool, Klopp looks at those players, and the scouting team obviously looks at those players and thinks who can come in and make an impact. And if they can't come in and make an impact within the first few months, then they don't seem to get in really. But I mean, here we go. We are in a somber mood, but a hopeful mood, because we have a Champions League final coming up, and it's going to be sensational. It's just beyond belief that Liverpool can perhaps win three cup competitions, finish on 92 points this season, losing 2 games in the Premier League. These are the days, boys. Like, you cannot expect anything better than this Liverpool team right now, because they are I've run out of superlatives. I really have. Alex, if you can summarise this Liverpool team in a couple of words, what would it be?
Fever dream would be mine. I think there was a point the Champions League run to Kiev where you step back and you think, I've never seen anything like this. That Champions League run that captivated the whole fan base, and since then it's just took off. And now there's expectation building up from that. But yeah, I'd say fever dream. We're sort of like just lost in it, lost in so much quality and so much emotion, and I can't really look back now and remember the time when Liverpool were bad. Obviously, you can, but since Klopp's come in and that first Champions League run, it's a completely different team. It's a completely different club. So yeah, I'd say fever dream. It doesn't feel real at times how good it's going at the minute, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, definitely, Alex. It can't get any better than this. Besides winning the league, and without Klopp's Liverpool, the Premier League would be it might be worse than the Bundesliga at this point. So we have to truly appreciate the ride that we're on, that we're currently on, that the ride that got extended, thankfully, a couple of weeks back with Klopp signing his extension, and just carry on and know that with full confidence that our team has a solid structure, a great leader at the fore, and that we're going to be in it to win it with every single competition, as we showed this year up until the last day. And that you could pretty much say 99% of fan bases can't say that they have. So I'm very, very grateful, very thankful. I hope we don't lose sight of how lucky we are currently. There have been very, very dark days in the past, and I'm sure probably in the future there will be. So truly appreciate what we're enjoying now.
Yeah, perfect way to end. Let's just remember that on the 24th of May, 2015, we lost 6-1 to Stoke. So before Jurgen Klopp's inception, we lost 6-1 to Stoke. And this is what Liverpool is all about since Jurgen Klopp's era. We are doubters to believers. and I will believe until the end. And I know that Alex and Rigo also share my opinions on that. And we will believe until the end. And we will believe that this Liverpool team has not finished yet. And we will not finish yet, because we are Liverpool and we will never, ever give up. And that's what's special about this Liverpool team. I'm very much looking forward to seeing all of you and sharing this moment with you when we are hopefully, fingers crossed, if you're on YouTube, like double fingers crossed, 7 times Champions League winners by this time next week. I love you all, and God bless you all. Up the Reds forever and always. Thank you so much to Alex and to Rigo. From now, take care. Goodbye.